Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is your daily go-getterism number 537 for March 23rd, 2016. Tonight I want to talk to y'all about how come therapy don't be working. Therapy, counseling. Why don't it work for some people? I mean, you would think that if anybody's having any type of emotional problems, psychological problems, therapy would be the way for them to take care of those things, to better themselves, to get themselves together, to cure themselves, to help themselves, to heal themselves. But some people that we know have been going to therapy for years and years, man, and they're not getting no better. Why is that? Why wouldn't you get better if you go to therapy? I think that there are a few reasons that would explain how come people don't get better when they go to therapy. And none of them are exact, but I think that we might get close on some of them. In order for therapy to work, number one, a few factors have to exist. In order for therapy to work, you have to build a bond of trust between the therapist and the patient. If there's no trust between the two of them, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work because what's going to happen is the patient is not going to want to open up to the therapist. And in turn, that's going to make the therapist's job harder because he or she is not a mind reader. They're a therapist. They went to school just like anybody else, got a few degrees, learned about things of their specialty in psychology, and now they're working in the field. That's all they are. They're not gypsies, you know. They're not psychics. They're not mind readers. They can't do that. So if you go in there with the attitude like, if they ask you what's been going on in your life, and you tell them, well, you tell me. You know, you the doctor. You tell me what's wrong with me. See, that's the number two problem. People not wanting to open up. So you have a trust factor that has to be established between the client and the therapist, and then the client has to be willing to receive help. And the only way that they're going to be able to receive the help is if they open up. They have to tell the therapist what's going on with them. And all of us have something going on with us, whether it's from way back in the past or the recent past or right now. We all have some kind of unresolved things that are going on with us that we, you know, would like to finish up and would like to improve about ourselves, but we don't know how. Some of us have been abused, whether physically or mentally or emotionally. Some of us have been molested. Some of us have been raped. Some of us have been beaten. Many of us have been teased and ridiculed and put down and criticized and insulted. And when you do that to a child in their formative years, it's going to stick with you for a while because what tends to happen is if somebody keeps telling you that you ain't shit, you ain't never been shit, you ain't going to be shit, and they do that at a young age, it's going to be very hard for you not to believe that. It's going to be hard for you not to accept that as the truth. So, you know, fighting through that as a child, if you don't have anybody there to tell you that the way they've been treating you, the way they've been talking towards you, the way they've been acting towards you is not right. You are beautiful, you are handsome, you are smart, you are worthy, you are good, you do have value. If you don't have anybody there to do that for you, those things stick in your mind and they carry you into adulthood and who knows what could happen to you after that becomes the case. So you don't want to go there. You don't want to be in that position. But many of us are in that position. And that's why we need counseling. Not only that, but many of us have grown up in a culture where counseling and therapy was looked down upon. Like, you know, you go to a shrink because you're crazy. And the only people who go to a shrink are crazy people. Other than that, you just deal with your problems and you handle them. Well, nobody is equipped to handle pain and sorrow every day of their life. Nobody is built for that. So we need help. And we got to do something about that with our people, especially, you know, I think that many of us are warming up to the whole therapy piece, but there are way too many of us who think that something is wrong with people who do that. But you know who winds up getting that therapy? Our jail population. And it's a shame that many of us should have to go and get incarcerated before we get a mental evaluation, or we find out what brought us to this violent, this violent situation, or explain our violent past, or the reason that we committed whatever crime if we're guilty. Yeah, you can get counseling in jail all day. You can get it every day if you want to. But that's not where we should get it. If we got it before, then maybe we could stay out of jail. And maybe if they get the proper counseling, maybe we can stop a lot of these repeat offenses. Well, nobody wants to spend their life in a box. But that's where therapy comes in. It's real shit, man. It is. It's real shit. So that's what we're working with, man. People going to therapy, people feeling bad because they're going to therapy. Oh, and one thing before we start to wrap this thing up, I want to talk to y'all briefly about being ashamed of the fact that you have to go to therapy. Now, it's one thing for people to tell you that you got to be crazy in order to go to therapy or whatever, but haters are haters, and anybody who has ever achieved anything in life has had to deal with some type of hater. But when you feel in your heart of hearts that you are so embarrassed to have problems, you know what I'm saying? You have real high and low mood swings. You may be bipolar or something like that. And hopefully you're not schizophrenic or whatever, but a lot of times people are that too. And don't even mix a drug problem in with all of that, because you know how that go. But yeah, don't be ashamed if you feel like your life is out of control emotionally. There are many people out there just like you, and you don't have any reason to feel bad about that. You don't have any reason to feel bad about that. Many of us work at jobs where we have health insurance, and many of those health insurance companies will pay for you to have therapy. And many times, at many jobs, they encourage that because they know people need it. They know people need it. So don't feel bad about needing it, because if you look at most of the people that you have ever met, most of them have received some type of psychological counseling, whether they admit it to you or not. Most of them have had that. So there's nothing to feel bad about on that front. So don't feel bad about that. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And the reason that a lot of times therapy don't be working is because people don't open up to their therapist. They haven't established a trust factor between the therapist and the client. And many of us don't want to be in therapy in the first place, so we hold back. We find ways to get out of therapy. But unfortunately, when we go to jail or we become addicted to drugs and all of that, then we get all the therapy we could ever ask for. But it ain't gotta be that way. We can proactively take care of ourselves and get things straight. So please do that. Please. I'll holler at y'all later, man. Don't forget about the spring cleaning event this Saturday. This Saturday, the 26th of March, 10 a.m. till we get finished hiking out there in the woods. Just like this picture over here. So it's going down, man. You know what I'm saying? Get with that. Rittenhouse Street and Wissahickon Avenue in Germantown, Philadelphia. You need more information, inbox me if you know. Email me at sun752@aol.com. That's sun752@aol.com. Holla at me there, or go to urbantherapywithsun.com and I can give you some details there. You can email me there too. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.